My name is Andrew St Pierre White. Join me as I build four-wheel trucks and travel to the remotest parts of the world. I'm a prisoner of this hill. Going for an early morning climb over the island. Sun is just coming up in the east. I think it's the east. It's east most mornings. So no reason to think that's any different this morning. Ah, look at this. Look at this tree. Look at this creature. It is something else, isn't it? Look at this thing. Later yesterday afternoon, this aircraft landed here. It's a Sling 4. It's a South African design and built light aircraft. It has a Rotax engine, but the big one. I think they call it a 514. And it's rather pretty, don't you think? Very, very pretty aircraft. And I see, interestingly, it's been fitted with a glider airplane tow hitch. So this thing is rated to tow gliders, and that's a very pretty aircraft. He is here as part of a paramotor race, and there's one taking off right now. The paramotors are flying, I'm not sure, I think it's Cape Town to Victoria Falls, and this is one of their many stop-up points. And the Sling 4 is here as support crew for some of the paramotor pilots. Here comes another one. Looks like they're giving a little bit of a show to some of the people watching the takeoff. Oh, these guys are crazy. So they dropped in last night to literally that good place to land and take off on the Pans. Land, yes, take off not necessarily. They need wind to take off easily. Anyway, they're airborne, and they're off to Victoria Falls, which is about, as the paramotor flies, 450 kilometers. In 1993, I flew my own aircraft over this area. I didn't land, but I did have a good look at it from the air. It is really something quite remarkable to see from the air. And the drone shots, they just don't do it justice, even by a small degree. The vastness of these pans. They are collectively larger than the land of Portugal. We are doing a little bit of a recce to find where we might actually spend the night tonight. We've got two choices where we think we might be able to get an amazing moonrise and sunset, and one place is here, easy to get to. Finding a piece of flat ground is not going to be easy, that I know. is drive, park the car opposite those very large red baobabs and then walk up and see what the view is like over the pan, where the moon will come up over those baobabs. The alternative is on here on the eastern side of the island, where of course we're going to get the full benefit of the moonrise from the surface of the pan, which could be really, really interesting if we film it with a long focus lens. That's possible. And then a time lapse with one of these incredible trees. Some of you watching might be asking, wondering if there are any wild animals here and are we in danger walking around like this? The answer is no. No wild animals here, apart from the occasional ostrich, jackal, but there is no game, so no predators. So it's absolutely safe for us to walk around. Lekubu Island has significance still today with the people of Botswana. There is a wall on the southern part of Lekubu Island. It's open-ended. It runs for about 150 meters. Because it's open-ended, suggests that it wasn't used for protection, but perhaps for to enclose an area for sacred ceremonies. It's known that it was constructed in the 13th century, about the same time as the Great Wall of Zimbabwe. Hunter-gatherers lived on Lekubu, particularly during the wet season, where there was an enormous amount of animal life in the area, as can be seen now from fossils and remains. And there are also sacred burial sites on Lekubu. It's a very sacred and very special place for the Botswana people. I think this is it. We've got 2 tree clusters to choose from to photograph against the moonlight. We've got that cluster there and then the single tree there. This is one of those places where you take a photograph and then you take another photograph and then you take another photograph. And after you've taken that photograph, you take another photograph and then you take another photograph. And actually that photograph is exactly the same as the photograph you've just taken, because it is just, it is just so beautiful, and you just want to take pictures all the time. Even if it's the same thing 100 times, it doesn't matter. You just want some way of recapturing what this place is and taking it with you. I still think I'm going to use wide angle.
I think I am too.
Well, okay, this is the spot, yeah? You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
There's a lot of options.
I think let's come up here and be here at 4. Bring our gear up here, and then if it's comfortable, we stay the night. If it gets very windy and cold, then we can have the truck reasonably close. We can just check everything in it, if as a plan B, if it becomes nasty.
Yeah.
I think it's worthwhile doing that. We don't know when the moon is going to come up, and we don't actually even know if we're going to see a moon rise, because it might just appear. If it appears before the sun has set, then it'll just appear. We might not see it rise, but if it happens after the sun has gone down, then we might actually see a moon rise. We don't know. Quite a tough walk. It's only about 200 meters, but it's very hot. The sun is very, very powerful. It's 4:30. We're wondering whether the moon will be a moon rise or a moon appearance, because it's a full moon, so it's actually coming up quite early. I think it'll come up just before sunset, which will mean we'll get both. Non-committal at this stage. This is a little unusual for me, in that I've come to a place expressly to shoot images, still images, and of course video images as well, for my show. But to come to a place, Kubu, with the express purpose of taking away images. This is the part of my job that I love the best. I wish Gwyn was with me. I desperately wish Gwyn was with me. You know, and I do a lot of these things on my own without my family, and it's always better with family. I love this place, man. It's nothing and nowhere. It quite matches the Makgadikgadi. It just is something that stirs my soul like no other place on earth, and I don't believe any other place probably ever will. One of the most difficult decisions, photographic decisions I've had in many, many years was to what to shoot for the time lapse, because I have no idea where the moon's going to appear. So I've chosen that shot there. There's the camera now doing the time lapse, and the shadows already stretching over the pan surface. Magic time on Lekubu Island, because as the shadows just spread out into infinity. It's fantastic. Well, as you can see, the sun is down and the moon is up, and the time lapse is still working, and we've had a marvelous time shooting pictures. Now, believe it or not, that is moonlight. Pure moonlight. That's all it is. Moonlight. What do you think of that? Isn't that insane?
When you're peaking in your focus, when peaking finds the moon, normally all your peaking stuff is close to you, but then all of a sudden peaking finds the moon and puts it in focus. It's pretty incredible. It's a great moon shot.
So there is the, it started, eh? The eclipse has started. That's really cool.
One of the English ladies asked me, do you ever enter any photo competitions? It's a weird question. Never in my life have I thought of doing something like that.
Me neither. Never even occurred to me.
It's never even occurred to me. And it was an odd question. And then I thought, no, I mean, I'm not that guy. I'm not a photographer.
In the concluding episode, I'll share with you the footage on the cutting room floor, little stories that didn't quite make it into the main edits. See you then.